Hello, Dr. Darko.
Hello, hello, Sarah. How's it going?
I am well. I am well. Let me get my bearings straight. I apologize. It's so funny. Like I used to schedule my shows around my kids' like activities and sports and stuff. And it used to be like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever. And then the schedule changed this year and now it's Monday and Thursday. The like two fucking nights I stream. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? Like why? Why? And you can't change it because once you've established a pattern, like
Yep.
you don't want to change it.
Yeah.
But it just makes every night I'm always like flying around the house like I gotta go. um, all right. So I'm assuming you've watched Throwdown Thursdays, kind of know the drill.
Yep. 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 Yeah.
I
Basically, an
haven't.
hour of us, running through why I think I'm right, and then we let everyone else on to try to prove me wrong and fail.
Yep. And then they will come in and they'll have their fun. Now, and you could, of course, you could get people that are for, sometimes against, sometimes halfway in the middle, and then you get like the weird spicolis that come on and just spurg. Um, so a little bit of everything mixed into one.
Right.
Let me add my. I need to make a new Throwdown Thursday video. I don't like this one anymore. I like the sound, but I don't like the video. Let me. Okay. Now, I won't give you a whole lot of pushback, um, only because I want you to be able to like speak freely, but I also want you to defend, your answer. But I won't push back the way everybody else will,
Right. Right. Mostly there to
if that makes
facilitate,
sense. Like, because
like,
I don't, yeah, if I sit here and attack you for a straight hour, by the time everybody else comes on, you're going to be pretty burnt out. Like, that's not really fun for me. So.
you say that, but
Mhm. I mean, I'll make you defend your answer, but I'm not gonna be a dick about it.
yeah, yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
But mostly like facilitate, like asking like leading questions, like please tell me more, rather than like, well, actually, if you look at the,
Mhm. Well,
but yeah,
actually, you're stupid.
right,
Yeah,
right.
I rarely. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking hungry.
No, you're
I
super good.
rarely go into like attack mode. There are some particular engagements I'll be a little rougher on, but the politics stuff, everybody knows I don't give a fuck. Like you're gonna think what you want. I'll make you defend it, but I don't really give a fuck at the end of the day.
Right.
Um, is there any like people out there that you absolutely positively do not want to see on this panel? They're like crazy psycho bullies or they dox someone or whatever.
No, I mean, I don't. I feel like you'd probably have more of a handle on that than me. Like, I don't know. I've heard like
I
third
mean,
hand information about like two people, but I've never seen them on here. And otherwise, most of my internet friends like me, or rather, aren't
well,
schizo.
that's fair. Sometimes some people have like there's like one person that they're like, I won't fucking stay if that person shows up. I'm like, all right, fair enough. I mean, and those people obviously know that I like they're not welcome, right? If that
Right.
person like, why would I let somebody on? But oh, okay. Um, all right. See, there's that set up. That's set up. I feel so like out of my wits right now. Any thought process, questions, worries,
Um,
concerns?
no, no, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. I don't know. I don't see
Yeah. I mean, you've
a lot.
seen enough of them, right?
Right, right.
All right. I'm going to put you backstage.
Oh,
Um,
also, sorry, one thing. Thank you.
mhm.
I do super appreciate it. Like, this is a lot of fun for me, and thanks for letting me do this. But yeah,
Oh, absolutely. I love it when people like volunteer to do these things and want to do them.
but yeah.
Um, to me, it's you know it's way more fun, and everybody kind of gets to. I don't know. Like, I feel bad when people get booted So I'm like, no, I'll just bring you back Thursday, and then they can't boot you at all.
Right, right,
It's kind of like my fuck you to the crowd, like thanks for the money, but fuck you.
right, right.
So, um, all right, well, I'm going to put you backstage. The intro is just over 2 minutes long. I will bring you back up on stage when you have about 30 seconds left. That way, it lets you know like you're going to be on screen here in just a second. All right,
Yeah, good.
all right, Dr. Darko, here we go.
I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl.
Are you ready for it?
I'm a real tough kid. I can handle my shit. They said fake it, gotta fake it till you make it, and I did.
I'm just a terrible person, I guess.
Lights, camera, bitch. Even when you wanna die. Breaking down, I hit the floor. All the pieces of me shattered as the crowd was chanting more. With a broken heart.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still enjoying part of my dinner back here, by the way. I've got a nice chef salad going on. I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. I don't care. You're going to sit here and watch me eat, and that's how it's going to be this evening. Anyways, I am Sarah the Raging Tomato. If I get something in my teeth, please let me know. I will be self conscious about it all evening. Um, but this evening we are running Throwdown Thursday. MAGA hates American culture. I didn't say it. Dr. Darko did. You're in big trouble. But I
Uh-oh.
think I think the people probably want to know why. And I just want to send out a little reminder across the board before we get started, if you don't mind, Dr. Darko. This coming Monday, we're having a fun little debate. We have a regular debate scheduled, but it's my birthday. So we will be celebrating my birthday this coming Monday. So if you want to give the gift that keeps on giving to your favorite podcaster, I ask each and every one of you to go back and find your most favorite debate or stream or whatever that you like. That was the one. That was the one that you still remember and it makes you laugh every time or whatever the case may be. And share that with one community or a friend or someone who you know might like it. Because for my birthday goal, all right, I would like to hit 8,000. We're so close. I don't know what just happened. We just hit 7,000, I swear, like yesterday. And then we're jumping even faster. And because of that jump, I figured, you know what? If you're going to give me something for my birthday, give me a big share across the board to everyone you know, so that we can hit that 8,000. And then I'll be a happy tomato once again. All right. Mr. Darko, Dr. Darko, Mosul. All right, you made the claim. You got to have some big balls to make that kind of claim. Why?
Yeah, so I think MAGA hates America for a lot of reasons. I think they hate the Constitution and the structure of government it provides and all the civil liberties afforded by it. I think they hate our institutions because they think they're corrupt. They hate the separation of church and state. They think they love the economy but hate the states that contribute the most to it. They don't care if the country's natural beauty gets polluted by industry. They hate most of the people who live here. They hate the poor because they think they're lazy or drug addicts. They hate liberals because they think they're too entitled. They hate immigrants for taking things they feel entitled to. They hate industry for giving for shipping jobs overseas. Um, yeah, I just they hate everything about our government, everything that we have here, and everything that we do here. The only justification they have for any of their policies, which is in scare quotes because they don't actually have any, is they just blame it on the Democrats, like they did it first, or there's so much worse, so we get to do whatever the fuck we want. But um, would they talk about making America great again? But like, when was that? Like, what about America is bad? And how are you trying to make it better? Um, and again, just kind of necessarily, like, you can't go backwards in time. Time moves in one direction. Uh, you know, you can't. The future is going to be different. So making it great again just doesn't really make any sense.
Okay. I want to start with one particular word that you kept saying over and over with each statement. They think, because they think, because they think. And I kind of want to, because one big boo boo I always notice in the YouTube space, the YouTube streets, are presuming intentions. We like to presume, well, women break up with men because they want someone that makes more money, because they think that they'll go find a bigger, better deal. It was like shit like that. I want to know why the fuck anybody puts intentions out there that are presumed intentions. So I want to hear kind of like where the backup is on why they think, poor people are lazy, or so on and so forth. Where are these intentions coming from, or how would you back that up?
Yeah, I mean, it's just super clear from all of their actions. Like, like they keep talking about, oh, Trump is a popular mandate and this is what everyone voted for and that's why he gets to do whatever the hell he wants. Yeah, like this is not the founding fathers wanted. They were, the executive was one of the most hotly debated branches of government to include. Like our political system, well, all right, I'll say this. Our political system was built largely on two major ideologies. One of which is liberalism, capital L, li- liberalism, which has a lot to do
Hmm.
with the rights of the individual. This is your freedom of speech, freedom of religion, like private property rights, rule of law, and free markets. Another like fundamental principle that we were founded on is republicanism. Again,
Hmm.
capital R, which is this movement that was a rejection of the idea of a divinely ordained leader that's just in control of everything. It rejected the whole idea of political domination and instead embraced, a government by the people, for the people, of the people. Um,
Hmm.
so, with every action, they consolidate more and more power into the executive branch because they just want, like, because they're in a cult and they just want a king. Yeah, our founding fathers would be disgusted. Like, gridlock is built into our system on purpose to stop populist leaders. But yet, like when the president ignores the courts and doesn't pass any laws and just, is doing nothing but executive orders to, do his whole agenda, like that's not how the system is supposed to work. So, yeah, I mean, they would, and they don't care. They'll acknowledge it all, and their only defense of it is like, oh, well, like wokeism though, or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. They'll happily wipe their ass with the Constitution if it means epically owning the libs. LOL.
Okay. I'm still hearing kind of like some kind of generalizations to the matter, though. I'm not hearing like a full breakdown Like, for instance, your example of Trump can just write an executive order, but, and then there's nothing anybody will do about it. Break down that executive order claim that you're making for me, and kind of show me so I can understand better why you can't just make executive orders and do whatever you want, and so on and so forth.
Right. So, if we look at the number of national emergencies that have been declared by presidents, like Trump is leading by like a country mile, because like the Congress holds the strings of the purse. They have to pass laws to choose what we fund or what we don't fund, or like handle what handles our, or they handle our economic policy. But yeah, Trump
Mhm.
has dismantled the Department of Education, has shut down USAID, has just made up claims of waste and fraud to just justify shuttering like everything they just don't like or any policy they don't agree with. I think USAID is one of the best examples of this,
Mhm.
because like there's a program in there called the President's Malaria Initiative, which just whatever, it's money being thrown towards treating and vaccinating against malaria, which is great.
Mhm.
Whatever. Like the world is a better place when we have less malaria. And yeah,
Right.
like that was part of
That's
USAID,
agreeable.
and that got shut down. Projections right now put the number of increased deaths in like just the 27 countries they were involved in. They're going to go up 40%. Like like
Really?
yeah,
Well, I mean, so it's not like I feel like, I mean, how is malaria even like still out there
yeah. I
as
mean,
a virus? Is it still an active
yeah, or it's
virus?
a parasite, not a virus. Um,
Or yeah,
yeah,
sorry, I don't
or
know
it
enough
doesn't
about
matter.
this stuff.
Whatever. And I have a degree in
No,
biochemistry.
like
I don't hold you to any standard. Um,
that's fair. Thank you.
but yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like tens of thousands of extra people are gonna die in this next year. Like it just like per year that this program is remains shut down. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, just bad. I mean, it's a
So
drop in the bucket.
what was that program like supporting, like ensuring vaccinations were going out, or to those who couldn't afford it, or
Yeah,
uh
it's a combination of vaccinations, of screening, of education and prevention. It teaches people like how malaria spreads, and when someone gets it really bad, we sponsor their treatment. Uh, yeah, yeah.
huh.
It started. Um, oh, I forgot what year it started. Whatever. I think
Would
it
this
started
be
like
the beginning of
40.
a zombie apocalypse
I mean,
because
that
of
would be
malaria?
cool. I would be for that.
That would be cool.
I'm pro zombies. Um,
I thought they would be fun.
right. I don't know if they'd last
So
very
they
long.
shut that down, but was there any type of like supplemental piece? Maybe it's kind of double dipped somewhere else. Something else is already. You know how sometimes I find a lot of programs are almost overlapping sometimes. I You can even see this in the corporate world where programs just overlap, and it's like you could afford to get rid of one and just to ensure you have kind of a liaison that taps into what the other one would have done. So I ask, is there a possibility that there's another program out there that would have covered that? And so by shutting that down, maybe it was because they already knew it was covered somewhere else.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, the President's Malaria Initiative has been around for like several decades. So if it's
Hmm.
doubled up somewhere, it would, be older than the double dip somewhere. But no, I mean, it was shut down because all of USAID was just shut down, like because that agency specifically is about international development, and that was a very easy, just cut all the shit because, why are we sending any money out? When you really think about it.
Well,
Um,
yeah. Why are we sending any money out?
because it's good. It helps make the world a better place for other people and for us. Like when the U.S. shows up somewhere that doesn't have clean water, and we build wells, and then just dip out. They're like, oh, actually, the U.S. is pretty fucking cool. When people get pissed off and they think, oh, the West is just like sucking everything dry out of the rest of the world, they get radicalized and they become terrorists, which is bad.
Hmm.
It's
I mean, is that? Would you say that that's like the United States' responsibility to tend to all of these other countries? I mean,
respons-
I figure by now, I mean, we're still. one of the newer kids on the block, right? Um, and there's a lot more way longer established countries out there that should have been doing this from the get go. Why is it our responsibility?
I would say it's necessarily our responsibility. It's just that it's a really effective and easy thing for us to do. Yeah, it's not like a moral imperative, I don't think, but again, it makes the world easier for everyone else and us. I mean, other countries can come in and do it, but then people aren't going to think the USA is cool. They're going to think Russia or China is cool because that's who's going to show up instead. Um, you know, it's not like the UK is like a massive force in the economic world who can just throw like crazy amounts of money. Like we
Hmm.
are the richest country in the world. Like we've been number one for GDP for quite some time. Uh,
Yeah,
so
but we also have like a massive debt, though. I mean, I look at it this way. What about like you're saying show up, give fresh water. I mean, isn't there what is that place? Was it in Michigan? Flint?
yeah,
Is it
Flint.
Flint? Don't do they still have good drinking water? Do they
Fuck no,
have it yet?
no,
Last I
absolutely not.
heard they still don't have it.
No,
I
absolutely not. That's
mean,
been a problem for years and years. I am a Michigander, so but yeah, that's like a huge infrastructure problem. Like there's lead in the pipes that the water runs through. So they have to dig up
mhm,
and all the old pipes and run new ones, which is a fucking project. You know, uh, and yeah, but I mean, like we can do both though. Like we can fund, like we have the money to afford to pay for Flint to get all their water lines replaced and go build a well
mhm.
for someone else in another country. Like we're not limited, uh, just doing
Would
one
you
thing at a
find it
time.
more productive, maybe? Like for instance, we've got tons of homeless. We've got, kids that are not getting food in their bellies. They don't have supplies for schools, things of that nature. Wouldn't it be more, I mean, productive to actually, spend the next, I don't know, 10 to 20 years actually investing in our own people who can't afford food, water, a home, things of that nature, and investing in our future. And then in turn, those people will later be able to become, or at least have the potential thereof and the resources to do so to later turn and be productive members of society, increase, that's just a little extra taxes being pulled from somebody who's actually a productive member. And then maybe 10, 20 years from now, we're even more grounded in our people. And then we can afford even more so to go do more out in the great rest of the world.
Yeah, I
Why
mean,
are we why are we so worried about everybody else when we're not even taking care of ourselves?
we're not like so worried about it. I mean, with respect to our budget, like US aid is like 0.01% of our annual spending. Like it's
Mhm.
not like it's not a big drag on us. Um,
Well, 0.01% comparatively to, like, how much in spending, I think that number would still be pretty big, right?
yeah, I mean, it's like I think it's they had a budget of about like 40 billion a year. Um,
Not a
or is
lot of
it
money.
million? I mean, well, sure, but I mean, sure to
Even
us.
40 million is a lot of money.
Well, yeah, sure, but like, what do we get like out of that money though? Is like the world, like the world being a safer and more productive place. Like again, like I don't disagree with you that we should also take care of our own. I'm pro like free school lunches and entitlements and like making sure kids aren't hungry. But when we look at the reality, like no one is starving to death in the U.S., right? Like that's just like not a thing that I mean, if that happens, like that's like a super duper like rare occurrence. Like yeah, like hunger exists, and people don't have enough to eat, but no one's really like flat out dying, right? Um, but yeah, again, like we can do both, and we can invest in us and also invest in others. But yeah, again, like MAGA's all against that. Like they think every able-bodied person should be working. You know, or and their definition of able-bodied is a bit strenuous.
Well, I mean, but haven't we kind of already I mean, I feel like we've spent at least the last 50 years going out and doing nice things for other countries in order to implement what you're talking about, right? Being able to kind of expose them to who we are. This is my name, right? We're America. Here's a bottle of water. Here's some food, kid. Let me dig a well for you so you can have a lifetime supply of water. Um, and we've spent a lot of time doing that. We've kind of made our stance out there. Um, I mean, why would at this point, is there any more net gain to doing that?
I mean, how much more are we gonna get by throwing money at problems at home? Like, yeah, there's like an upper bound on how effective more money will help. Everything. Um, but yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, when we if we just dip out, like that just leaves a power vacuum, and no one else is going to provide that service, or like or one of our enemies are. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I would rather it be us continuing to do these programs that you know, in the grand scheme
Well,
of
I mean,
things.
if we've already like kind of been there, done that, implemented programs in the past, why are they not already implemented in such like growing and applicability in such a way where they're being able to establish themselves? Like, then have we sucked at doing our job?
No, I mean,
Because like, I look at it like a child, right? Like, "Hey, let me come out, and I, will teach you how to tie your shoes so that you no longer need me to tie your shoes for you. I will teach you how to, write your letter so that I don't have to, write and read for you." Like, we're going out and trying to assist, but assist, I would presume, assist in a way where they can now stand on their own 2 feet. So, like, how much more do we need to do of that before they can stand on their own 2 feet?
I mean, I guess I don't really know. Like what does that look like? Like, are we waiting? Or are you hoping that sub-Saharan Africa can produce their own malaria vaccines? Because I think they're a few years off from doing that still. You know,
Mhm.
and like same thing in
Maybe not being able to create it themselves, but in order to establish something within their economy so that they can have their own growth, have their own schools, have their own, resources and create their own resources and abilities. So if they don't have access to create something, they have access to purchase it, right?
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, again,
So,
kind of the same way you're talking about investing in us at home. Like, yeah, when we invest in in the world, like they're like, oh, America's cool. Like, I want to go there, and then, they can come over here. They can start their own businesses. They can start, selling stuff. But
mhm,
yeah, I mean, it's a big, like give and take. Like, it's not like we're just losing, we're just like throwing money away. Like, it is useful.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot to gain by being the world superpower. Like like we get a lot of favorable treatment from uh like trading partners and stuff. And
Do we?
yeah, I mean, yeah,
Like what? What do we get?
or I mean, people like selling stuff to the U.S. Like that's undeniable. Like look at how many.
Well, that's because we're consumers. We like to buy shit.
Well, yeah, because we have the the money to buy it. Because we're the richest country in the world. But I mean, like, we also do still like make stuff. I don't know. Like, shout out to non-fun, I guess. But yeah, like our manufacturing has like doubled in the past like 3 decades. We've just gotten better at making stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess whatever. I not to do the guilt thing, but we got a lot. We were able to industrialize using some really wild technologies, and yeah, like like if you believe that climate change is real at all, then like like you have to help other countries like skip the burning coal phase of their development. Like they're not just going to build solar panels out of sand. You know,
Right.
um, so yeah, I mean, yeah,
And just a kind reminder to the audience, we will open the panel up here in a little bit, per usual. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my salad. I hope you're all enjoying. Somebody in the chat said watching Sarah eat a salad is cannibalism. This is cannibalism at its finest. Oh no, little tomato. Um, okay. So take me back to I believe you mentioned immigration. I think you did.
yeah, yeah. They hate immigrants.
Let's
For some reason, not quite sure why.
Oh, I think we love immigrants. I think we love legal immigration. I don't think anybody has um anybody's like too excited about somebody who breaks laws in order to get into our country and access, what we have to offer, our resources, when everybody else is doing it the right way, right? We're not very fond of that. I don't think we ever have been. I mean, we are a country built on migration, immigrants, so on and so forth. We love that stuff, but I don't think we like it when you break the rules. So take me to why you think they hate immigrants.
Um, yeah, I think I mean, I think they really portray them as second class citizens. You can see this in all the crazy deportations that are happening.
Mhm.
Abrego Garcia, was granted a withholdal of removing from a Trump appointed immigration judge, and everyone is just out there screeching about like, oh, he's a bad person, and just ship him off. There are people like in my town who have had their visas revoked because of a of a traffic violation. Like I none of these people will talk, will like want to deport like a white person for like getting caught speeding. But yeah, I don't know. They say they want him to come over legally, but I just don't believe it. Especially because they're willing to just hand off the civil liberties that we all get because everyone in America gets free speech, like full stop. Like it doesn't matter if you're here legally or illegally. Like if we just start, if we don't like what you're saying and we investigate you to see if you should be here or not, that's not how this fucking country works. That's not freedom of speech. Like that's fucking weird. Um, uh, but yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of the times, the argument I hear most often is they're changing the culture, which is kind of cringe. I would say I don't think that culture should be dictated and enforced by the executive branch of the government. And yeah, I want people to come here and bring their culture. There's a great Reagan video of like the unique thing about America is like you can go to France but you can never become a Frenchman. You can go to China but you can never become a Chinaman. But like you can come, anyone in the world can come to America and be an American and become an American no matter where they're from. Uh,
Mhm.
but people don't. I don't know. Again, the "Make America Great Again." I hear a lot of arguments about repealing the Hart Celler Act and having to limit how many immigrants are coming in. And but like why? Like we need people. We're our unemployment is pretty low, or like borderline unhealthy low. But like yeah, if you want to create factory jobs where people put stuff in machines, I guess we need people to come do those jobs. Um,
Mhm.
but they seem to just think like, oh, anyone who's a coder can just get out of the office and go work a real job, in a factory or a fucking coal mine. Um, but yeah, I
Well, I mean, we have before, right? I
yeah
mean, we were built on that. We were like the Industrial Revolution built literally on the assembly line.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Um,
again, our manufacturing output has doubled in the past 30 years alone. Yeah, like we are good at making stuff. We are still making stuff. We've just gotten better at making stuff. Like our manufacturing hasn't died. Our manufacturing,
mhm.
the number of people we need to work manufacturing has decreased because like the assembly line was built that way because it was very efficient. And because we're really great at being efficient as a
Mhm.
cap as a capitalist nation, and we've only gotten
Yeah,
better and better
we
at that.
thrive in efficiency.
Yeah,
Like that's probably where we kind of win at. And Bane Bear says sends a big 10 to say, Sarah, I love you. Fuck Dr. Darko.
taste.
That's fair. That's fair. So I wanted to ask because you mentioned uh, we're enforcing culture. We're kind of dictating culture, enforcing it. Um, and I think there are some kind of places in there for a reason. So I want to ask, like, would you be okay with is it Sharia law?
Shakira law.
Sha- Shakira law? Whenever, wherever. Is that the law where your hips don't lie?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. You know what? I didn't even have my stuff opened up this way. This is how much I was so worried about food. I forgot to set a damn goal. I apologize. Look, you guys are lost without goals. See, such Americans. Hold on. Shall we make a goal? Um, what kind of goal should we make? My hips don't lie. Hold on. Let me make this. I wasn't even paying attention. I was just like kind of haphazardly watching the chat. Um, let's see. Um, birthday, pre-birthday gift. There you go. Now see if you can pay in advance now for my birthday. All right. So Shakira's law, Shakira, whatever. I mean, would you want a culture like that being allowed to kind of come in and I mean, because I feel um, like America, we have oh the fucking Finkel. Finkel in with the big 50 says yes. MAGA hates American culture, ducking and hiding. Don't worry, I won't throw my shoe at you, but maybe I might throw my slipper. It's okay. But thank you, old Sarge Finkel. I'm going to leave that one on the screen for a while and teach all you others what to do. Um,
Yeah, I don't think like culture should be dictated and enforced by the executive. I think it should be left up to the people and the market to decide on what they want. But like to the point at someone who got like 49.8% of people to vote for him, and say like, oh, he gets to decide everything now. He gets to withhold federal funding for research grants at our very amazing universities until they preach his ideology instead of the other one. Um, uh, but yeah, I mean,
do
I
you
think
think that's not happening in other countries?
I mean, I don't care about like I again, I don't know. I live in America where that's not supposed to like happen. I have
America,
freedom
fuck
of
yeah.
religion and freedom from religion. Uh,
Well, if they're teaching certain things at universities, don't you have the option to not go to that university?
yeah, you have the
Isn't that
option
the
to not
great
go
thing
there.
about being
But why
American?
should the president have the authority to withhold funding from them like until they accept his ideology and like his curriculum? Like this is the dude who dismantled the Department of Education to return, those rights back to the states.
I
However,
mean, that funding isn't. I mean, it's not an obligation. It's more of like it's a gift. Just the
yeah,
same as the interstate, right? This is how they. It's the power of the purse, right? So, for instance, back when they wanted to make seatbelt laws nationwide. Every state, we want you all to make these people wear their seatbelts. Well, the states are looking at the federal government and they're like, why the fuck should we do that? And the government said, I'll tell you what, if you enforce and push down this law for everyone to buckle up and you enforce it, we will uh, provide the interstate and provide grants and stuff in this for your roads and your infrastructure to build these bridges and roads and yada yada yada. It's the power of the purse. We've literally utilized this, just same thing for the drinking law. If you enforce this, we will sponsor that. If you enforce this, we will sponsor that. It's how they got it. That's why some states do and some states don't. Um, so
that was
it's
like
for
almost 100 years ago, right?
it still works. You think they're not doing that now?
I mean, no, I don't think in the past few decades that a president has ever
You don't think
held
they're
funding
still
hostage.
it that's what the federal funding is. It's like it always comes with a read between the lines kind of stuff at the bottom, like we will provide we will fund this, but in order to do so, you got to make sure you adhere to or enforce or abide by or blah 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 blah.
I mean, yeah, sure. I just don't, that's different than, you have to teach this or, you have to like, I guess I don't
Oh,
really
no.
consider like Title IX and stuff to be, these crazy conditions where it's like, oh, hey, you can't be openly like racist and sexist to get federal
Well,
funding.
that's a federal law. I'm talking about getting states to adhere and create state laws in order to, because the federal laws, like I don't think there's a you have to be 21 and up to drink on the federal. scenario. It's all on the state level. That's why
Yeah,
different states have different rules. But
for
in
sure.
order for them to get the state to adhere, they offer a little, we'll give you this if you do that. Does that make sense? Well, that's always been the case. Grants and shit don't come for free. There's always something coming back.
I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose of a grant, but like, and again, I'm talking about like endowments to universities to do like STEM research is being held hostage for like, oh, like, you have to change your social sciences program that in like these ways, or your admissions policy in like these ways, um, in like, uh,
Well,
you
then
know,
the school can just get different funding.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can.
Yeah, you got
I
to.
think it's bad to just pull all that. I mean, I feel like our universities are one of the most shining, like, amazing things of this country. Like, everyone in the world like wants to come to American universities, like
Hmm.
because they're so prestigious, and to just, oh, we're cutting, we're cutting our chemistry program because, I don't know, Trump said we were too woke. I think that's cringe and lame.
Maybe. Well, I mean, I love funding just like this. Jess Geraldine with the Big Ten says, "Thank you. I can breathe again. I guess without a goal, you guys are lost." I need to they need to let the mods make goals so that my mods can keep track of that. And Finkel, of course, sending love all over the place, gifting 10 Raging Tomato memberships. That is the gift that keeps on giving. Thank you, Finkel. You are so kind. And K2 keep on trucking in with the Big Ten said, "Wait a minute. This is the guy that called me a Canadian. You're lucky I can't kick you." Trump voice lies. Trump voice lies immigrants who come here and get their citizens the right way are Americans in my eyes. Agreeable. So K2 Keep on Trucking actually came on and did um a Trump voice. Was it last week, I think? It was freaking hilarious. He jumped on just to do the Trump voice. And old Sarge Finkel again, here to make a happy tomato. I love you so much, Finkel. We're glad you're here. He says, "I guess it depends on the funds, if the funds were approved by Congress or White House. With colleges, I don't know. By the way, the slipper missed." All right, well, I've got a second slipper on its way. Um, but yeah, I think if you're such a prestigious college, it shouldn't be hard to, like, if you're actually producing stuff that eventually sells or does something or amazing, and that like you would get funding from those companies or from alumni or if people are paying to go to your school, they're paying that price and so on and so forth. I feel like if
I mean,
it
yeah,
was
but
so
the private
good,
market doesn't select well for, fundamental research,
well,
like
maybe they
most of
just need to
the,
suck more dick.
I mean, that also might be a solution. I can't argue with that logic. um, but yeah, I mean, like we need people at universities doing like random experiments to just kind of try shit and figure it out, and before it gets scaled to an industrial level and then like sold as a product. But yeah, like like the first like 90% of all new innovations start at our you know public funded universities that eventually
Mhm.
get extrapolated out to like, oh, like I can make stuff, make something out of this that I could sell to a lot of people. um and yeah, like everything from like vaccines to new manufacturing products.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
this would be a great opportunity for private companies to come in and like eat that up, because then they can kind of guide and steer and get exactly what they're looking for.
well, I mean,
And for the
98% of
tax
that money is.
credits.
I mean,
Mm.
like 98% of that money is going to be a loss, though. And you're just like, oh, well, why can't companies just willingly,
What's a
just like
tax credit?
knowingly?
That's all tax breaks. Are you kidding
I
me?
mean, sure, but like, I guess that just feels like shifting the problem. Like, it's still deficit spending, like, it's like, oh, like we're going to stop paying for this, but we're going to make companies stop paying taxes on this. So like, you know, companies will be able to. I mean,
Well,
the
now the
companies are going to give the
companies,
same amount of money.
but now the companies bear the weight of the problem, and they bear the Like,
Well, no, but
is the
they're getting a tax
is
credit though, or a tax write-off though. So
hmm,
so we're taking in less money from the companies so that they can give the money to the
they're gonna
universities.
get that tax credit that way or another way.
Well, yeah, sure, but like
Yeah.
offering them less options is not.
Well,
Um,
wouldn't you rather them invest in a local college in order to promote STEM research or this or that?
I mean, no, I don't think the market solves well for funding academic research. It's just not like,
Really?
yeah, no. I mean, as someone who's been through academia and like knows how that process works, like, yeah, no, like private companies want to put money into something they're going to get a return on investment in. They
Right.
don't care about like, oh, like, you use CRISPR to, put more zinc in this. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, we don't need that here. We have enough zinc in our diet. Um,
Right.
but like, yeah, like that,
Well, then maybe it'll teach you guys to be more intentional with your projects.
So I mean, I don't. I mean, you just want to put a
I'm
cap on
fucking with
science,
you.
then?
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
fucking with you.
All right.
All right. So where else do you have an issue with how they don't like MAGA. I keep saying they, but MAGA doesn't like immigrants, according to you. MAGA doesn't like enforcing culture. Well, what kind of culture do you think they're enforcing then? Like, what are they pushing down on us?
That uh, straight white Christian men deserve most of the chances, and everyone else, can get a chance after. But it's important to protect our American stock. But yeah, I mean, I think when they say that they love freedom, they love the freedom to command others and freedom from being commanded. Like they don't want anyone else to be in charge of them, but they want to be in charge of everybody else. But yeah, I mean, I just think largely their policies like have no defense. Like all like the tariffs and all of their stuff is like self defeating. Even like Trump wants to replace the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, with the External Revenue Service, and thinks we're gonna replace income tax with like money we've gotten from tariffs. But isn't the whole point of the tariffs to stop buying from foreign markets and to make our own shit here? So like all right, well for a little bit we're gonna fund the government via tariffs, and then after we make all the shit here, we're just gonna stop funding the government, I guess. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, when MAGA talks about making America great again, I don't think they can substantiate ways that America is currently bad, or explain at all why their policies will make it great again without mentioning the communist woke demon rats, because that's their whole shtick is like, well, Democrats did it first, so it's only fair that we get to do it, which is cringe and lame.
All right. So, what would be your solution then? How would you, if you were president right now, and everything that he's done within his first 100 days or whatever, what would you have done completely differently?
I mean, I would like everything he's done. I would do absolutely nothing. I think our economy and everything was set up to go swimmingly. I think the tariffs caused a spike or like a shutdown in the economy that was as bad as COVID and the 2008 housing crisis. He could have, honestly, the policies we had in place and the bills that Biden passed were stellar. He passed more bipartisan legislation through his Congress than any other president for infrastructure, for like with like the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act. Yeah, I don't know. I would invest a lot in like green energy stuff because I think what we do the best as Americans is innovate and create new like cutting edge technology, and we can sell
Hmm.
that to the rest of the world. I mean, if you want to get rid of the trade deficit, then yeah, we need to make more. We need to make better solar panels and batteries somehow, and sell that technology to the rest of the world so they can stop setting shit on fire to make energy because there's a big flaming ball out there that we can use instead.
I like
Um,
flaming balls.
but yeah, I don't know. I would also not. Goodness gracious. Um,
There's literally a giant flaming ball behind me.
Okay. What's a flaming tomato? I guess it is a ball.
Oh goodness. And then we had some super chats come in again. Bane Bear says again with the big 5. He says, "Still love your content. Fuck Dr. Darko." Then he's oh my god. Then he says again, "Sarah equals legend. Dr. Darko equals pussy." I don't think Bane Bear
Yeah, I
likes
would
you very
tweet.
much. That's very interesting.
Fine.
Old
I'm
Sarge
very
Finkel
unlikable.
sends Old Sarge Finkel sends the big 50 on the Cash App. Don't forget the Cash App button, guys. You spare me that extra 30% that YouTube gets. He says the big 50 and he says, "I like the polite disagreements." I do too, because it makes it more for an interesting conversation. I mean, quite frankly, I don't know enough about enough to shut you down, but I like being able to ask the question why, like a curious little kitten, just saying, "But why? But why?" And it makes it so much more fun and interesting. And I just want to see you prove it. That's all. Um, so you would leave, have left. I mean, I feel God, the grocery bills alone, and the gas, right? So that's where I'm sitting. That's where I'm sitting on before the whole election and everything. I look at where my gas prices were. I look at what my grocery bill was, and I was not happy with either of the two. Um, and it was not very incentivizing. I didn't even want to eat. I didn't even want to eat because it just even going to a restaurant to sit down, I feel like prices doubled there too. Like go to McDonald's, you couldn't even get one meal for under like $12. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like McDonald's is like the bare lowest of low. So if McDonald's is getting expensive, like what's that tell you? So I just kind of want to ask, like, you were okay with the economy sitting where it was?
Yeah, I mean, compared to where it is now, I mean, I don't know. As someone who looks at the volatility index and the S&P 500, like, yeah, I mean, it's been like kind of both the stock market and the dollar have been crashing for weeks, which is, you know, great. But yeah, I mean, our economy grows over time. Like, yeah, inflation is bad, but also humans don't have a great knack to feel inflation. Inflation is a rate of change, or do you know calculus at all?
Yeah.
That's a dumb question. Sorry. Oh, for sure. So like inflation is like a second derivative, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
rate of a it's the rate of change of the rate of change. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, and yeah, like when COVID happened, we had a choice. We could stomp down in unemployment or stomp down inflation. If both, spike, that's bad for the economy. And
Right.
so yeah, I mean, Trump spent way the fuck more than Biden did. Even before COVID, Trump ran record deficits for absolutely no fucking reason. And then yeah, like Biden came in, put some bills in, inflation like went down. But yeah, like people don't feel, like when if you get like a 20% raise and then your grocery bill goes up like 10%, you feel the sting of at the grocery store way more than you do the joy of making more money. Um, so yeah, I mean,
I don't think there were any like big raises going on. I mean, that's where the companies dick you over because they're like, yeah, we'll increase our price, but we're not gonna, like they'll increase their price by 20% and only increase your pay wage by one. Doesn't
right,
make any
right,
sense. You're trapped no matter what. The only way to get untrapped is to be above the line. There's a very stark line in there, and you're either above it and you'll do just fine, or you're below it, and you'll be coming up for air every time, like, did I make it or not? Oh yes, we read that one. Um, and Finkel in with the big 50 set. Oh wait, yes, I got that one already. Garble with the big 5. Maybe get a straw so when you drink, it doesn't knock your mustache out of whack.
just like playing with it. Okay.
I know you fiddle with it a lot. You need like a paper clip to hold in your hand or something. It'll take that tension off
Yeah.
way better.
I have a lot of toys, not those kind of toys,
But
but
oh,
what?
Huh? Hold up. And Gavin says, I'll explain why America was bad. It became lame and gay. Don't be ashamed of being straight, homies. Fair enough. Jess Gerald says, "What is Darko's argument? I must have missed it." That's what I'm trying to get out of you too, because I'm still only hearing like kind of like basic generalizations, but I'm not really getting the proof in the pudding from you. Um,
Yeah,
are
sorry.
you
So
muted?
it's like
Oh,
it's a really broad argument, but yeah, like MAGA hates like the concept. Oh, sorry. Um,
you're good.
sorry.
You're good.
Um, yeah, MAGA hates the Constitution. Everything we have in this country, or most of what we have in this country, and most of what we do in this country. They hate all of those things. So, yeah, um, that encompasses a really wide breadth of stuff. And it's easy to get lost in the weeds in any individual topic. But yeah, I mean, like Trump got 49.8% of the vote. So like, yeah, they disagree with most of the country. At the very least.
C Just 32 with the big 20 says, Sarah, you're doing a job that's just like you, and that is beautiful. Thank you so much, Jess. I appreciate you. And K2 keep on trucking with the big 10 says, in Trump's voice, lies. I want to give mothers $5,000 and tax millionaires so people making under 150K don't have to pay taxes. Nuclear energy is the cleanest. Where are the
So like
commas
that's
and
a lie. So like
periods
the
in
new
this K2? Go ahead.
yeah, no. So, I mean, so like the renewal of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that's currently being debated in our Congress, which you probably haven't heard about because you focused on deporting people who don't deserve it. But yeah, I mean that would raise taxes on the lowest tax brackets. Like they would owe like a few $1,000s more a year in taxes.
Right.
So, oh,
Oh, that's fair.
which I'm not even necessarily against. We need to probably increase taxes on some people.
We need
But
more
yeah, I mean that's
taxes.
yeah, I mean it's okay. So we either tax people more or we grow our economy. In order to grow our economy, we need more people. But yeah, I mean if you want to cut the deficit, we can't just keep cutting taxes for everybody and just act like money is going to appear out of nowhere.
Stop spending.
Sure, stop spending where?
Well, that's what he's doing right now. He's cutting all the fat, all the shit we don't need to
No,
be
I
spending money
mean,
on, right?
nope. I even Doge, like so when Doge started, they were talking about cutting like $1 or $2 trillion from the budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are they currently at for what they've cut? Now that Musk is about to walk away.
Musk is about to walk away.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, after his Tesla earnings call, recognized that his company is failing. So he's and also he's not very effective and is a, a stupid person who doesn't know how to make good policy decisions or business decisions. But yeah,
Right.
Musk is on his way out, like currently,
Oh.
or at least from what I've heard. But yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, I
Doge
would
is
imagine when you dive into politics in such a position that he did, that will reflect on if you have a major company out there, that will play a part in that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like that's going to do it. And ladies and gentlemen, I have dropped the open panel link to the top. You're welcome to start shuffling backstage and I'll bring you up all up here in just a minute. So, okay. So, oh, sorry. And Finkel sends another 10 on the Cash App. He says, I forgot the snacks. I love snacks. And I'm not reading that one because you only sent $1 for that one, Bane Bear. Uh, okay. So, all right, your solution was you would have just left everything as it was before Trump got into what's that place called? The Office, right? And before he was elected and
yeah.
took over presidency and everything that he's done since. So, but do you think everything was going perfectly fine then? Like there weren't any issues or or were there some things you could have maybe made something better out of?
Oh yeah, the bipartisan border bill that Trump got canceled so that he would have a platform to run on. I think that should have been passed or something equivalent to it. But yeah, our asylum process is fucked. That is like the major like the worst possible like thing for our source of illegal immigration. And
Hmm.
yeah, we need more asylum judges. We need a gratuitous reform of that process entirely because that's how most people are getting in. Because as soon as you step 1 foot into the country and then claim asylum, you deserve due process. Like we should give asylum to people who deserve it. I think at least. Um,
Well, yeah, but you claiming asylum, like not everybody can just drop in and be like, "Oh, hey, asylum card, thank you." You
well, I
actually
mean,
have
like
to.
they can though. Yeah,
But there's
yeah,
actual standards that come with that. You can't just
correct.
cross
Yeah,
over and say that you're claiming that.
correct. And there's only a certain number of judges who can hear that case and make a decision with respect to whether or not that claim is valid or not. Um,
Uh huh.
and like we need more of those types of judges. Because the waiting time is supposed to be less than a year, and it's currently like 7 or 8 years. To get an asylum claim heard, and that's bad.
Well,
We should be.
even at
I
that, I
mean,
think,
if we're going to take people claiming us,
is it you that's cutting in and out, or is that me? Because you've just been lagging almost all night. I mean, I feel like it's getting worse.
oh, might be me then.
Mhm.
Uh,
Um, I do have
yeah,
people
my
already
StreamYard.
hopping backstage. Super excited for all of you, and I'll bring you guys up here in just a minute. I just want to finish this last thought with him. You're coming in now. You seem to be fine. I don't know if it's doing the recording on your end, because I know I allow the local recordings. Maybe that might be slowing it up, or if you have like any other tabs or
Oh,
something open, it might be doing that. I just want to
I
make
should post
sure
my
that
extra
you're
stats,
not
but
lagging later, so
yeah,
that if somebody is talking to you,
right.
like you're not uh, looking like you're being interrupted or doing in the interrupting. But you seem fine now. Anyways, okay, so I do agree that our efficiency with the red tape, any court system, any type of government thing, any federal whatever, I 110% agree with you that it is way too long of a wait. We need better systems in place, more efficiency, and we need to cut all the bullshit of um like, well, you have to do this and then you have to it's just you're jumping through hoops all day long just to hurry up and wait. And I that's the one thing about the government system that I despise. Even being in the military, it was just always hurry up and wait, and then you did everything you were told you needed to do, you checked all the boxes only to hurry up and wait and find out, oh, well, we need you to do these 10 other things, so now you're going to have to wait another 6 more weeks. And it's like, why didn't you tell me this 6 weeks ago? I would have done it already, you know. So in that aspect, like it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me how we operate our government system. So in that regards, I do agree with you. Maybe it requires more judges, or maybe it requires us to like cut the bullshit red tape and get right to it. So and I'll read the last oh wait. Oh no. Yeah, you already read that
I'll
one.
be right back. Sorry.
Okay. K2 keep on trucking in with a big two says, Sarah, I'm using my headset for speaking text. Sorry. You must be roading along on the big highway and watching. I'm pretty sure that's probably what you're doing, considering your name is Keep on Trucking. Um, and then we've got Jess Gerald in with the big five. I'm sorry, I must insist. Can we get a concise argument? Many of us are taking notes on these debates. Agreeable. I mean, even at that, like, I do feel like it's a lot of generalization. So I'm hoping maybe somebody else will have a better opportunity to get a little more closer to the bottom of the line. I, you know, I like generalities in terms of talking points, but I want to see somebody really dive in for for that part. And Michael Tuglas with the Big 10 says this guy is every stereotype, wrong about everything, and seems like a genuinely nice guy. He is nice. I do like Dr. Darko. Why do you all spurg over 15% tariff raising price, then immediately suggest raising corporate taxes? Interesting. I will ask Michael, I will ask him that question again when he gets back. I think that's a good question. All right. While he's either you are back. There you go.
Sorry.
I'll wait for okay. Michael said, why do you all spurg over a 15% tariff raising price, then immediately suggest raising corporate, I'm guessing corporate taxes?
Well, no, it says Cooperate taxes. I don't know. Why do you think I want to raise prices on chickens? I don't want to tax chickens. I mean, I think the corporate tax rate should sit around, like 30 or the corporate tax rate does well around like 30%ish. Too much more than that is bad. Too much less than that is not as effective.
Fair enough. Well, are you ready to
Right,
face the
right.
panel and have some fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure? You promise?
Yeah. Sorry.
Fuck it. Let's have some
Sorry,
fun.
my computer is.
All right, gentlemen. Of course, it's all dudes on here. Not a single fucking girl ever shows up. And Salmon Fish, I see you back there. You'll be next in line. Okay, so I want to just start by saying welcome back. I know everybody's already been to this panel. What's my number one rule over here? Can anybody tell me?
Don't
Don't
talk
shut the
about
fuck up
Sarah
when
the
Sarah
Raging
talks.
Tomato.
Oh God, you're all so
Oh.
good at this. All right, I will
That's
leave it. I
number
want Ivory Fool. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off? I'm sure you have a question in here.
Yeah.
I know your favorite rule. Don't say the JJ.
Yeah, shut up, Spicoli, or I'll throw you to the back. Go ahead, Ivory Fool.
I think my question is, why do you think MAGA is so popular? Because you talk a lot about, like, you even said that you're not really sure what you do as the leader, right? So it's like, why do you think that MAGA sees so many problems and you feel like you don't see those?
Yeah, because I think MAGA preys on a low information population. They blame the elites for all of their problems, blame the government for all its inefficiencies. Like, oh, well, some like 2% of this is bad, so just burn the whole fucking thing down. But yeah, I mean, it's just like a stereotypical populist movement.
You don't think the woke left has the same bullshit, Darko? They want to
woke
burn
left-
it all down too, Darko.
Yeah, they do. And MAGA is just as bad as all those fucking cringe ass commies, okay?
Are there examples
Like-
of populist movements that didn't arise
They're
like for good
both
reason?
bad.
Shut
They're
up,
both
Spicoli.
bad.
Shut up, Spicoli. Go ahead, Ivory Fool. Can you ask that question again, please?
Ivory, what do you mean for good reason? Like I don't
Like,
that's a
I think there's lots of cases. Like, I think the issue with populism isn't that the issues are not real; it's that they didn't really offer a good solution, which I think is what's happening right now. I agree with you that MAGA is not offering a good solution to the problems we're facing, and I think people are rightly. I think even MAGA is stressed about that. Like, they're looking at the tariffs, they're looking at the attacks on due process, and I think the attacks on due process are less concerning for MAGA, but definitely the tariffs and definitely the uncertainty and the inflation expectations and all of like the kind of chaos and the Pentagon and stuff like that. I think MAGA's probably a little bit more concerned about that. And so I think the issue with populist movements again is the solutions aren't up to par, but the problems definitely exist.
Sure, I'm super excited to see once the tariffs like really come into effect and inflation hits like 20%. Yeah, I'm super excited to see how MAGA. Well, I already know how MAGA is going to respond, and it's that paying higher prices is actually patriotic, because they don't actually give a fuck about higher prices or anything. They just care about owning the libs.
Oh, here we go.
Well, your prices are going to go up, obviously.
I don't
Darko,
think that
please
answers the
don't play with
question.
your mustache. Right.
He's nervous, okay? This is his first official guest featuring on the Tomato Show. He knows it's a big deal when you get to be here. Lost Ronan went in with the big 50, says, boomers being called out, Spicoli. Boomers did a horrible job raising their children or made the poor choice not to have them. And now we have to hold the entire nation hostage with insane taxes to fund their poor choices because their own kids won't take care of them. Fuck that. Spicoli, what do you have to say about that being the probably only boomer on the panel?
I agree with him. People did a shitty job of raising their kids, and the proof is the Zoomers did a shitty job of millennials raising them. So the boomers raised shitty millennials raised shitty Gen Zoomers, and it's all fucking going down. Doesn't matter.
I take a little bit of offense to that.
I'm a Zoomer, and my parents are Gen X.
It's all going down.
Okay, let me manage this with Spicoli real quick. Let me manage this. So the only thing I have to say is that I don't think a lot like my parents think, but they taught me like, simple things like, leave something better than you found it, have responsibility. If you say you're going to do a job, do it. I think they set me up to be smarter than, anyone in Gen Z, anyone in Gen X, any boomer, any greatest generation. So I think you guys actually succeeded.
Thank you.
Scarface, and what he said is, "Alls I have is my word and my balls, and I don't break neither for nobody."
Oh my goodness. Looks like Darko is just having some internet connectivity, so I'm gonna I'm just waiting for his stuff to reconnect, and he should be able to pop back up. Finkel with the Big 10 says, who thinks MAGA is so popular hasn't been following the polls? Even the Fox News polls have the interest levels of MAGA changed across the board, or what's going on with it? Does anybody?
I don't really care about Fox News polls.
Like 40% of people, or even like 25% of people supporting one person. Like I think Donald Trump is like, if that's the number, I don't know exactly what the number is, but like diehard supporters, like that's a huge number of people, regardless of like if it's not the majority.
Right.
I don't support any of them.
Darko get some beard butter for his mustache. That's all.
There he is.
This is. I just want to point out this is propaganda, plain and simple. When we look at what Trump's actually doing, he's throwing out policies that don't land anywhere, and so we have. At this point, we have, 4 months of activity. We have 0 results. We have things which are conceivably worse and getting worse.
Trump is pulling this shit out of his dirt chute. You're right. He's pulling it out of his dirt chute. He's making it up as he goes along.
But that's a good point. If he is making it up as he goes along and people wanted something they could relate to, well, it's like, it might not be the nice thing that you wanted, but it is a thing for sure. It is not a thing.
Don't forget, Trump bankrupted 4 fucking companies and 2 casinos.
Oh my God.
Shit.
Trump doesn't.
How do you expect him to run a country?
Well, I think there's a lot of great businesses that have to fail, a time, 2 or 10. So I don't know. I don't know the numbers behind it. And sometimes you actually benefit by sinking a ship, right? Sometimes it's cheaper to dump her.
But half the shit Trump says is bullshit. Half the shit he said he was in talks with China today and yesterday. The Chinese said they're not even talking to him about tariffs. So he's lying about that.
The most successful thing Trump has ever done has been playing a game show host, or has been as a game show host on TV, playing a rich person. That's the only successful thing he's ever done.
That's not true.
Don't
so
forget,
I think
Trump shut the country down 5 years ago in 2020.
Right.
It wasn't
Darko, I
Biden
wanted
who shut it
Darko,
down. It was
Darko, I
Trump
wanted
who
to
shut
ask
the
you
country
something.
down.
I wanted to
Trump
ask you
shut the
something,
country
Darko.
down.
All right, Spicoli, chill the fuck out. Go ahead, Duck.
Okay, so Darko, this is one thing I think Trump's done well, that you didn't give him credit for while you were talking to Sarah for, a lot of Americans look at the Harvards of the world. They look at, something like the Supreme Court, and they don't understand how it impacts their life. And I do think Trump has said, well, look, you can actually reach out and touch government, institutions, and stuff like this. This is stuff that it matters in as much as I can disrespect these things. I don't know if that makes sense, but is that a good thing that Trump's done?
I don't think he's done that. I think he's ignoring the rest of government that isn't him. Like, the Supreme Court.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, the Supreme Court released a 9-0 decision that, like, hey, like, you have to bring this dude back. Like, you shouldn't have done this. And
his own court told him to do something. He doesn't even follow his own appointees. Look, Trump doesn't even follow what his own appointees told him to do.
The 9-0 decision thing isn't quite saying that the court ordered him to bring him back in colloquial terms.
If Trump's
they ordered him to bring him back.
How weak your day is. If Trump affects your day that bad, you need a better hobby.
You don't have a 401k, and I don't care what you think.
All right, Finkel with the big 20 says, I thought I saw Lincoln. I did. I did see a Lincoln. The original Republicans are back. Yay. Just a big shout out to Abe Dinkus here. This is your third time on panel. I'm very excited. You keep coming back, and I'm not going to be the one to get rid of you. You are always welcome here, especially if you wear the hat. Finkel says with a big 10, if the youngins are so awful, shut up, Spicoli. If the youngins are so awful, who's going to run these factories Trump claims to want back?
Robots. Robots are going to run them.
Hold on. Bane, are you making
Gen Z's too fucking lazy.
Shut up,
Gen Z's too lazy to work.
All right, look, there's this magical mute button like this. Okay.
I'll wait for Berging. I was just hey, Sarah, I love you. I hope that your night goes well. I just wanted to pop on and say hi, but I'm going to go ahead and check out so you can get someone else on panel, okay?
All right. Thanks, Bane Bear. We appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you like comedians, if you like stand-up comedy, all that fun stuff, go check out Bane Bear. He's a fellow supporter of the show here, and we like to always give back while we can. All right, salmon fish. Now your internet is always crappy. If it keeps cutting out, I'm gonna eventually just dump you. Okay. All right. And then Lost Ronin in with another 10 says Gen X doesn't get a pass either. Their inability to have healthy marriages and divorcing like they changed their underwear created soy millennials who in turn made super soy Gen Z. Any thoughts there, gentlemen?
And Gen Z is getting pretty base though now. Or maybe that's Gen Alpha. They're more conservative now.
There's no problem with soy, first of all. So if we work that part backwards, I think Gen X grew up in a time when everyone thought technology was going to be this total game changer, and it turns out, like in most times in history, 1% of them were right and became extraordinarily wealthy from it in the United States. So I don't know about Gen X parenting. I think, as like, if we're grading a generation, I think they can do a little better than the vegan grade, but maybe not much better.
Better than the vegan grade? What the hell does that mean?
I think, I don't know. I think that was my my internet/real autism coming out, trying to be funny.
Are you trying to return back to the super soy commentary?
Super soy. I had Impossible beef the last 2 days, so I'm feeling good. You can't bring me down.
Fair enough. And Grid,
I almost think
Grid 1 is giving hold on just a second. I'll turn it over to you, Salmon. Grid is giving the gift that keeps on giving back to the audience. Thank you, and you're welcome to everyone. Grid says, Spicoli, go away and make room for someone useful. Sorry, Sarah, I am done streaming for the day, or I would pop on. Got my quota of liberal tears for the day. I believe Grid 1 just finished up a debate. So go over and check Grid 1 out. He always, he's definitely making a very big step into debates, especially lately. Super proud to see you screen to screen to screen, Grid.
He's
You've been doing a
super
great job.
soy. He's super.
Spicoli, enjoy your time in the back. I'm bringing on non-fun, thank God. And thank you, Grid 1, for doing what everybody else wanted. And Plumpy in with the big 2 says, Daddy Trump still loves you. And Finkel in with another 20. Well, we did win 2 out of 3 elections. Heck, Obama got a noble for one. Oh, crud. They just revoked my Lib membership. Damn it. Thank you, Finkel. And all right, Salmon, I believe you had a thought to add into there.
I was going to say my position is sort of categorically the opposite. So, what's your name? Duck. Okay, so you're kind of taking this like middle ground of the spectrum, and I kind of think it's both extremes at the same time. So, there's a lot of stuff coming out recently in material sciences and computer technology. Yeah, that's in large part because of some of my work. Actually, forget about that right now. I'm trying to water it down. Okay. And then the flip side is that I know some people who are trying to get like small business insurance for like maintenance. And I'm just thinking about the next generations. Like if they don't do maintenance, a loose screw in every single building, a burst water pipe in all these offices, these server rooms. We absolutely need maintenance and construction people. So I imagine like market incentives and frankly kind of like crisis pressures is going to push it in both directions. Because it's good money. It's like $40 an hour.
Yeah, but so the thing I would point out is that, like, you know, if you're talking about millennials or Gen X finding like a market inefficiency, and it's something plus, like, you know, if you're passionate about like maintenance and stuff like that, like, you know, guys like Alex Ramosi always talk about how that stuff's such a good fit, but I don't think that says anything. Like, I've never met you. I don't, you know, no offense, I don't know you, but like, you know, I don't think that says anything about you being like a good patriotic American or something. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
Oh, I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying that like my talking to Zoomers, they're real interested in $40 an hour, which is easier than like hard labor like concrete.
That's true.
No, they will sew the fucking socks like a good American. we will be making all of our own shit here moving forward.
Yeah, your own factories. It's different.
Like Pakistan. Yeah. No, I mean, I think the main thing, like, I would just say, like, good luck to your own, like, sort of business venture, but like thinking about, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna be like the most negative person that you've ever met. I'm, you know, so like I'm just really cynical about like the future. I'm all super cynical about the future, and like I'd rather be caught being like too negative than like being caught unprepared or something like that.
Stop being so fucking cynical. The future looks great.
And
Sarcastic Saint, like the econ dude, but yeah.
Sarcastic Saint in with the big 2 says, Spicoli, thank God Grid put you in the back. And Finkel sends another 20. I don't want him back, but I was asked to bail out Spicoli one time only. Well, I've got great. Oh, hold on. I've got great news for everyone. He's not back there anymore. He left. He always leaves. He gets mad. So on that note, Finkel, tag me in the chat, please, and tell me who else you would like to boot instead of Spicoli, because you get that credit back. You can boot someone else, any person of your choice. I'll put the names back on screen. And yeah, you boot whoever you want. If not, I will just take a vote from the crowd. And then I want to also say hello to Val out there in Cyber World who's watching me. I love you, girly girl. Mwah. And K2 keep on trucking in with the big 10 says, kick the boomer that can't shut up. He's acting worse than Mel. Which one's the boomer?
That was Spicoli. Spicoli.
Was that Spicoli? All right.
Yeah,
fair enough. K2, please, if you did mean Spicoli, I will give you your $10 credit back. Tag me. You got to tag me in the chat and tell me who else you want to boot. And then ZT Dan with the big 5. Sure, there's no problem with soy if you have no balls. If you have to ask what I mean, soy equals low T. Are there any low T commentators this evening?
Nope.
I just wanted to mention,
Nope.
maybe a little bit, but that's $50 on Spicoli. Just like if we're keeping track, that's $50 on Spicoli in 2 minutes.
They
Well, thank you,
really
Doc.
don't like him here. Oh, goodness. Well, actually, Finkel paid to bring him back. He paid to revive him.
Oh,
So, yeah. And then Finkel says, nah, no boots. Aw. See, Finkel does have a heart. And Filthy Phil with the 5 says, Tomato Lady, this is to not the Furby whenever he shows up in the future. All right, well, Furby's got a 5-minute holding pattern. I will apply it later if the Furby shows up. And I just want to let everybody know who I have backstage in case you want to, fast pass somebody to the front line. You got to boot somebody off. We've got Mo Rebuttal up next. We've got Ryan the Radical Coder waiting. We've got Geoverse, who I'll need you to cam up backstage for me and just show me a peace sign back there. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then we've got Rinyald from I think it's Rinyald's Notebook, who will be debating here next Monday for my birthday. So I'm super excited to get you on here before that and have some fun. Bane Bear sends the 2 to say thanks for the shout out, Sarah. And last one I'll read for now. Uncle Fatty says, right now, as we engage in this amazing focus on talking points and weapons of mass distraction, the USA is starting a war in Yemen by the anti-war president. Pee on my leg equals trickle down. Anybody have thoughts on the war in Yemen?
Nope.
It's not going anywhere. They can't afford it.
It's extremely sad, and I hope it goes nowhere because I hope war eventually just stops completely. That's my hope.
Who the fuck here actually agrees with MAGA? I feel like it's just a circle jerk up here. Anyone here is actually pro MAGA?
Actually,
I was here at the beginning.
I'm pro Trump, so I mean.
How about you, Abe? You've been sitting quiet.
I'd say we paint with really broad brushes. You can say people in MAGA don't care about the Constitution, but that wouldn't be everybody in MAGA. You're talking about specific small sections of people, maybe. I doubt that it's all of them.
That's everybody in MAGA.
Most of them.
Actually, that's not. I care about the Constitution, and I grew up.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Make America great again. Let's go.
Right, but
tell
I
me
was
how you
literally
care about
here
the
in
Constitution.
2016.
Wait, you tell him how he doesn't.
Like, no one that you see today is the same people. And how did Trump even get on stage in the first place?
Because he was a game show host.
People voted for him. People actually.
He was a businessman.
Right. So
That's what he was.
I'm just saying. How do you even get on stage?
The guy's lots
I was
smarter
here.
than
It
you
was
are.
a bunch of millennials. It's a people's movement, and none of the same people are here anymore. They're all
That's
neocons.
actually.
I think
Like
it's a little
Teal
different. I think
acolytes.
Trump told people that look, your broken bank account's okay. Trump told people that he said that like, look, even if you don't feel like you're a complete person, there's someone else next to you that's just like this, right? Like, and you can go hand in hand with these people. And in my opinion, ultimately, what you're driving towards, maybe it makes sense, but maybe it doesn't. But we're gonna find out together. To me, that's not a
Economy is good politics. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but
it's bullshit.
tariffs ain't working.
Why is that
Well, it's
bullshit?
funny because
take money
I keep
from
hearing
people who
people
don't have
say
But the tariffs
that
just
if-
started, so they got to give them time.
Go ahead, Abe.
Time to do what?
Well, I
Yeah,
keep
if
hearing
you
people
actually
say
look at
if
the economic
you're
data, China's
for MAGA,
Hold on, Salmon.
then you hate the
Go ahead, Abe.
Constitution and you're not patriotic and all these things. And I'm like, that's funny. That's funny coming from everybody who hasn't done anything for that Constitution.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
I have,
Great.
and I'm really
I'm
saying
just,
those are
I'm
all
saying
feds.
I know
Like, it's not the same
people that are
people.
pro-Trump that don't agree with the decisions that he's made, but they're still MAGA. It doesn't
Right,
like
that's what I'm saying.
you don't
It's
have
like
to
people-
worship him to be part of that movement.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Wow.
You have to accept everything Trump says.
Into MAGA
Don't
and
you, Abe,
Trumpism.
don't you feel like as a veteran, I'm not going to pander, but as a veteran, don't you feel like it's a slap in the face that Trump appointed Marco Rubio, this bigot, this Christian nationalist from frickin' Florida
Oh my
that
God, he's not
does
bigot.
nothing to keep America out of these wars? that should be offensive to people.
Doug, prove that he's a bigot. Prove that he's a bigot, please. Tell us. How's he a bigot?
Because he's basically wants us to go back to the year 1930, where we have to argue about whether, you know, a black kid and a white kid, you know, have the same type of education. He wants us to go back to a period where we can't actually address issues. We can't talk about how we can't talk about like anything anymore. And this is what I mean. Marco Rubio, he went to Panama. We don't have any business in Panama.
Actually, we do. We do. We have the Panama Canal.
What is it?
We have the canal that we funded. Okay.
We gave up.
We have a contract with Panama.
Who cares?
So
what's theirs now?
It's not theirs. We still have that contract.
No, we sold it
Look
to
it
him.
up.
I don't care.
I think we.
The only reason Greenland and Panama
When
came
did
up
we
is
sell
they
it?
lost
When
most
did
of
we
the
sell
empire
Panama
and they're trying to
Canal
build
to Panama?
another one.
We didn't sell it really. Jimmy Carter basically gave it to Panama. I think it was. I don't remember the exact rationale, but I think part of it was, you know, just because it was. I think it was during the Cold War. We didn't want Panama messing around with the Soviets or whatever. But like even the fact that we have a contract implies that Panama's the one that owns it, and we're like contracting it out. Like I understand we might, you know, have the contract, but that implies that we have to ask permission to use it or whatever. Like,
Northman, have you read the whole contract?
No, I've not read the whole Panama Canal contract, man. You got me. Damn.
Yeah. Okay. So read the whole contract.
Lobro probably also hasn't read the Greenland
Read
Treaty.
the whole contract before you comment on the Panama Canal first. Okay.
What are you implying?
Generally, the idea is
What would you
the
learn by
whole
reading the contract?
trade
One at a
barriers
time.
and naval choke points.
And
Like
I
it's
just
naval
wanna-
choke points physically and trade barriers. How are you going to bring in money?
Who cares about bringing in money? Okay, the whole idea of running the government like a business is stupid and dumb. And anyone who thinks that government should be run like a business is stupid and dumb.
Well, why? Okay, elaborate why it shouldn't be.
So this is gonna sound cringe, but you know, government and business are two different words, right? Like they're not. They don't serve the same function. Okay, I don't want the cheapest air traffic control system. I don't want the cheapest military and weapons. I don't want the cheapest spaceships. I live in America. We have the best shit.
Businesses do the
I don't
cheapest
care what it
thing.
fucking costs.
Grade actually stands for.
government
Military
contracts work.
grade means literally the cheapest, most viable contract, somebody that can fulfill it. It's the cheapest, literally. So when you hear things say military grade, it is the cheapest, most mass-produced thing that can be done. It is not the best. That is why a lot of
Which is
tier one
ignorant
people
because
use.
Marshall before
But
civil.
tell me, but tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why anything is ever more important than how our federal government builds relationships with other nations and maintains the perspective of the United States as someone who's capable of providing both aid as well as being beneficial when there's changes happening in one of our partners. There's nothing
This is
more
like the
important
easiest
than that.
dunk. Like if the country itself is not doing well, why should we care about other nations? Like that's like the easiest dunk you've ever set up for anyone.
Exactly. We are literally the police of the sea when it comes to trade. If we cannot actually finance that, every free trade that exists goes bye-bye, because then somebody else, like somebody decided, Darko says that there will be a void if we leave something. So what happens when we end up going bankrupt, or when we can no longer fund our military, or somebody else starts producing more ships than us? Because technically,
Do you think we're gonna stop paying for our fucking military anytime soon? Like, what do you mean the U.S. is going to go bankrupt? Like what? Like
Darko.
What the fuck do you
Trump
mean?
is the one that's more open to default than anyone else. I think Trump was literally suggesting in meetings that he wanted to explore our options to default. Like,
Yeah, economic imperialism means dependency. That's what foreign aid is for. We have to give them money for economic dependency.
I'm not.
Back
I'm
it up
not
with the military. That's
like,
the fiat dollar.
Yeah, but a counterpoint to that is there are
money.
people like Ayan Hirsi Ali is one person who said, well, yeah, you know, there's imperialism and there was colonialism, But and whether or not people agree with her, the opposite thing of what should happen is that the US starts building these contingent relationships, or Europe starts building these contingent relationships where it's like, well, if you do the right thing, we're going to send you a check. If you do the right thing, we're going to keep funding these organizations. You know, and so a lot of nations that have historically depended on the US are already seeking independence paths financially. And Trump is basically saying, well, you know, if we pull the rug out hard enough, is there just not enough money in the world? It doesn't make it is absurd. You guys aren't gonna like it. The Gen Z here aren't gonna like it, but it is absurd. That's all that is it's crazy stuff working its way into our brains and telling us that you have to listen to the guy on your screen. It makes no sense at all.
Wait, what claim did you say makes
I'm
no
in
sense?
favor of foreign independence because that way they can not be crippled by dependency and be more productive economically.
No, that's the opposite of what happens. There are gains from specialization. Usually when countries are interdependent, they specialize in producing, you know, a product, and that allows them to increase their productivity. That's the opposite of what
then how do you explain the European
Not if there's a global liquidity crisis.
European
Union.
That's right.
What do you mean, how do I explain the European Union?
How do you explain the European Union?
Union is not
There's a
one
global
independent
liquidity
country.
crisis.
We're not independent.
You can't compare the European Union.
What?
Can't pay labor.
I understand.
Norman,
So the
answer.
European Union, my point is they're a free trade zone. They benefit from specialization because there are no
But-
trade barriers between countries in the EU. Like that's
But-
that's half the point of the EU is
They
to be
can't
a
print
trade
money
zone.
without labor. They can't pay
But you said a country independent. These countries are not independent. If they need to do something, they need the what you call permission of all the UN, all the countries in the European Union to do something.
It's only the
some
US and
things.
Israel. I'm sorry, not to interject, but the US and Israel also have so much control and influence in how those packages get sent out.
What? Where did Israel come from?
I have no idea.
What influence
They're
does Israel
a
have?
nuclear state. You know, Israel does have some leverage in the world.
Just wait.
Why
Duck
highlight
is coming
Israel?
around.
Yeah, leave for 2
Yeah.
seconds. We're already on the
Related
tiny
to
hat,
this
people.
part
Sorry.
It's
Sorry.
And on that note,
Jews is
Frito
the rich.
Fonzarelli sends in a big 5 and says, "How can you be so confident yet so retarded? He has no arguments, only platitudes. Boot him and bring up Chris so he can see what a true mustache is." It took me a second. I'm like backstage asking, "Who's Chris? Who's Chris?" And then I realized he was probably talking about Chris Lestrange, who is not yet. He's not in the backstage. I don't see him in chat, so I don't know if he's here. But I also don't know who you want to boot either. And Finkel with the big 20 says a government should serve the people. A corporation should serve the owners. But isn't the people the owners of the government? A Grid with the big 5 says, pretty sure what has worked into the duck brain is a bit too much soy and peyote.
Peyote.
Peyote?
Peyote.
What's peyote?
You know what that is?
Peyote?
It's a
cactus?
it's a Native
Psychedelic.
American. It's an indigenous psychedelic,
nuts.
a natural
drug.
psychedelic. I guess
Yes,
Indian.
yeah.
That's very.
Yes.
That's sort of very racist for me to say it like
Potato.
that. But
Well, no,
it's
they like being called
Independence, trip
Indians,
falls in the desert,
for the record.
Another universe.
Yeah,
They identify
I don't
as
know why we're
Indians.
hating on soy so much, but
Because phytoestrogens, non-fun. You'll learn about it when you're not
Oh.
19.
true.
Yeah, Dirk knows so much about Indians.
Yes.
Okay.
I can trace my ancestry back to the Mayflower. All right. I fucked up a lot of these people indirectly.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I won't feel guilty for saying your ancestry.
And just a kind reminder, I still have Mo Rebuttal backstage, Ryan the Radical Coder, Renauld from Renault's Notebooks, EOD 696, and First Sport Talk sitting backstage, waiting for you fine folks to do what you got to do and get somebody new on here. You know the drill.
can I ask
know the
something,
drill.
Sarah? Since there's no questions coming in for super chat, I have something I want Non-Fun and Dr. Darko to answer. So Non-Fun, I want to know if you have a soul, because you did an entire 3 hours on economics. So I would love to see if you and Dr. Darko can talk about MAGA, but like how it actually impacts, like how would it impact me in my life? Let's say I was a huge Trump fan. What would you say back to that?
Most of the things that Trump is doing with the economy are just against your interest. Like, depending on what income level you are, a lot of the cuts to Medicaid that he wants to do, a lot of the cuts to food stamps that he wants to do might end up affecting you. The tariffs will almost certainly end up affecting you, whether directly via higher prices or indirectly through stock market crashes that then, cause uncertainty, and that reduces business investment. And there's a whole bunch of other things that come with that, especially, the fact that investors are selling their bonds, and that increases yields on bond rates, and that drives up mortgage rates. That could affect you as well. The fact that, to be fair, he's kind of sort of walked back from this, but who knows? About a month from now, he'll be attacking the Fed again. The fact that he keeps, saying that Jerome Powell should cut rates and can't come, and his termination can't come fast enough, that, would be inflationary and probably pretty bad. These are all things that are just against your interest.
And you could also just be deported, depending on what you say online. Because, it's you could just be labeled a terrorist, and he'll defend it. And he can just get rid of you for any reason.
That's true. And speaking of getting rid of people for any reason, Geoverse accidentally dropped out. He says, I dropped out by mistake. Kick someone for me. I'm going to boot you, salmon fish, because your light is driving me up a fucking wall. Mo coming up next. And then I have Grid sends in 20, says, James, sorry, buddy, but I want to see what Rinyald has to say. I need the entertainment. But Ryan is actually next in line. So, James, you're going back to the back, and I actually have Ryan up next. So, Rinyald is next in line. Next in line. All right.
All right,
Okay.
Mo, tell me what you love about America.
Actually, I have. Can you hear me?
Yes. No. What'd you say?
Can you guys hear me?
No, I can't hear you at all.
Okay, great. I actually have a few questions I'd like to ask Darko. Going to the topic, what would you consider American culture?
I mean, I think it would be the founding principles of the Constitution, like liberalism and republicanism. To a lesser degree, I'm not a huge fan of ascriptive hierarchies, but I think that's kind of part of our founding too. But yeah, I think MAGA hates all of us. Well, except for the third.
So you're claiming that MAGA hates all of us?
You didn't even get to say
Can I say one thing
anything.
first, before I go?
fast.
10
Yeah.
minutes. Okay, I think if we can push to the
You're
topic
muted,
and
Ryan.
be more specific. No, let me talk. So I do think that certain segments of MAGA do hate the founding principles, as were mentioned, like the Constitution. And I'll specifically throw these out. You guys can discuss them or not. But if you think that undocumented immigrants don't deserve due process, or that the executive branch should ignore Supreme Court rulings, I would say that you hate the foundations of America. And so if you guys want to play with those, have fun. I'll see you in 10 minutes.
Well, you now have another 10 minutes, and then K2 keep on trucking wrote in the chat. He said, never mind, use my credit on Meth Man. So that's a total of 30 for you backstage for sure. And we've got Rinyald coming on up. Welcome, my friend, to the platform. And Finkel with the Big 10 says, thank God I don't have big panels. Nobody can manage who's on and off like Sarah. That's a good point. Actually, and I will say, when the line is full, I mean, there's a full 5 extra people backstage, right? So if the line is full, like, I don't keep timers at that point. If you get booted, you're just back to the back of the line at that point, because I can't, I couldn't take Mo and Rinyald back off screen just to re-enter somebody else. It doesn't make any sense. So once you get booted, now you have to wait until either somebody else gets booted and you're back in the line shuffle, or if somebody pays to buy you back up, but we'd have to essentially boot someone else. And Speedly with the Big 5 says, Darko, what is your most controversial opinion?
Non-binary communism is cringe.
Non-binary
What does that even mean?
communism. Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Darko?
It's the non-binary people who love communism. Yeah,
Oh.
that loses me like 3 friends a year. That postmodern neo-Marxism, shucks. Just I'm against it. I gotta say, hot take.
Darko, I've been defending. This is going to surprise a ton of people because you guys know how conservative I am. But I've been defending actually like queer ideology on like various discords and stuff recently. I don't know, it's come up a lot. So like I'm not adding you for the view on non-binary, but you know there's it's a very liberating sort of way of thinking about stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree.
Some people
I just
like it. It might be wrong, but it's
yeah. A lot of those people really hate the country, and I love my country, and so that's why I conflict with both the non-binary communists and MAGA.
So
Right.
isn't the statement
Go ahead.
though that all MAGA hates countries? Isn't that just like the no true fallacy? Like there's facets. I mean, even I agree that there are certain things with the MAGA movement that I think is you meet certain ones that are a little more indoctrinated, but you find that with any group of people who
Mo,
feel
can you
passionate
explain what fallacy you were talking about? Do you mind?
no true
going-
Scotsman fallacy. Like it's a
is that?
no Scotsman puts sugar in his porridge, and then person B says, "Oh well, my uncle Angus, he's a Scotsman. He puts sugar in his porridge," and then it goes, "Well, he's not a true Scotsman, right?"
Mhm.
So that's really what we're talking about here. Because I would consider, I mean, I don't like labels by definition because
Identity.
they tend to shape and shift and turn with whoever
Sure.
the populace is currently believing what that current thing is. But I would say that, yeah, for all intents and purposes, I'm a MAGA supporter. Now, do I like everything this man's done? No. Do I think he's the perfect God's gift to everything? Of course not. Do I think he's a failing businessman? Not necessarily, because going back to your other statement about, or somebody else said something about he's gone bankrupt. Well, no shit. Like anybody who's owned multiple businesses, guess what? The business goes bankrupt. He hasn't.
He hasn't had a single successful business though, except for playing a successful businessman on TV. That is that is his only claim to fame, is being a fucking game show host. That's it. That's the only thing that he's ever done.
Why does that matter? Who cares? It completely negates
because
the
he has
previous statement.
because
though,
people
that
treat him
you're
like he's a
throwing out
great
the
businessman.
bankruptcy. People throw out the bankruptcy thing like,
shit, I
oh,
didn't
that's
know
a
that.
gotcha. That's a real good gotcha. It really isn't. It just shows people have no
Yeah,
no
and I didn't make that point.
I know.
The point that I'm making is that he's a
fair, not you.
shitty businessman, and he wants to run the country like a business, and he's
What's wrong
shitty
with
at
running
doing
a
that.
country like a business? There are crossovers. By
There
the
are
way, the whole,
crossovers, but that is retarded. Like you shouldn't do that.
No, it's
like
not,
again, like
necessarily. It depends on how you do it.
the business,
Everything's
like,
nuanced.
government should not be trying to turn a profit. Like that's not its main objective.
It's not. Okay, so its main objective is not to bring in enough money to support citizens and give the things required to conduct a civilized society and keep things protected. That's not
Yeah, I mean that's part of what it does, but it's not trying to maximize the return on investment of every single dollar.
Then you would agree then that in order to do that, you have to have some sort of revenue, whether that's tariffs, taxes.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
So then it is making a profit.
Not necessarily. Like I mean, like
What
it
would you
takes
call
in
it?
money and it puts out money. But
So
like,
I have a
that doesn't
I have a,
make
le-
it a
I have a
fucking
ledger
business.
here, and it's not like it's not in the negative, and it's a positive. I would call that what if I'm a government? It changes magically because I'm a government entity.
Or I mean, no, it would still be a profit, but a government's purpose is
so
not to maximize profit.
More profit is better, right? You want to get down to
For a
terms?
business, yes.
For any entity. If we have more money as a government, if we are a wealthier nation, then we have more money to spend on what we need.
We are the wealthiest nation in the world.
Who cares?
Apparently,
that's
you like I don't know, like
no.
that
Who cares
seems
if
to
we-
be
who
something
cares
you
if
care
we-
about.
Who cares? Exactly, I do, and I want to keep that way. And I want to keep going that way. In order to
Okay.
keep going that way, then who cares about target that? Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you hang up your hat and say, "Well, I'm done. I should never try to achieve higher heights. I should just give it up."
No, it's not that we can't get out of a budget deficit and have a surplus from like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm for it, if it makes sense, but like I don't think necessarily that like the idea of having a budget surplus is like good intrinsically.
Why?
Like a government isn't like beholden to shareholders to turn
Why?
a profit. What do you mean? I mean, sure, we could save a crazy amount of money if we stopped paying for lawyers for people when they were charged with crimes who can't afford them. Like we could just fire every judge, every public defender.
Let's just go, what is inherently bad about having a surplus of money?
I didn't say it was inherently bad. I'm saying having a budget surplus isn't necessarily inherently good. Those are not those are not equivalent statements.
Why not? If I go to if I go to my bank account and have
what do you
surplus,
mean?
That's
okay, whoa, real quick. You understand that there is good, there's bad, and there's neutral, right? Those are like three like moral like evaluations that we can make on any given thing.
I don't know if you would attach a moral standing to it. You'd have to give me the context.
Well, good is a normative statement, right?
Good is sure. I'll give you that.
Yeah, sure. So like when you say we ought to have a budget surplus, I don't know if that's necessarily true.
No, I was asking what was inherently bad about having.
I didn't say I'm not saying we ought not have a budget surplus.
Okay.
I'm just saying like I don't like sometimes
and you
having
would you agree
sometimes
that is better? Would you agree that's better than having a negative surplus, like having negative?
Sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry. When you say negative surplus, you mean
I'm
a deficit.
A negative.
No,
right,
you're good.
Right.
No. You didn't misspeak. That made sense. Just had to think about it for a second. But yeah, I mean, like a surplus in a business is good because then you have more capital for reinvestment. You can return, like value to shareholders. Yeah, like that's necessarily good
and
because that is the purpose of that entity.
Wouldn't the taxpayers be the shareholders in this quote unquote fictional, example of a business, a government?
I mean, you could try to frame it that way, but again, like a government doesn't exist to maximize.
What I'm saying
profit.
is there's a lot of similarities, right?
What is the similarity?
We just went over similarities. You just by your own admission.
Okay. So do you want the cheapest and most efficient like air traffic control systems, spaceships, military? Like do you just want like the cheapest version of that?
I'd like to address this. Businesses that do a race to the bottom to spend the least amount of money on all their products, those businesses are usually very poor and they're not great. I personally have interfaced with plenty of businesses, very successful multi-million-dollar businesses that would rather pay a little more for a quality product. So the idea that just because it's ran like a business and you want to spend money where efficiently doesn't mean that you're a race to the bottom to get the cheapest thing there is. Not all businesses operate that way. There's a wide range of how businesses operate. Some businesses, do exactly, to be fair, do exactly what you're talking about, where it's a race to the bottom. Hey, give me the cheapest shit you got. And then they're usually the most, ghetto, horrible business you can deal with.
So again, we could cut a lot of our costs. We could be way more efficient, and
sure,
we could just have like a better system if we just cut all the judges, all of the public defenders. We could just have police people decide whether or not you get executed on the fucking road. And that would be cheaper. That'd be way more efficient. It'd be way more it'd be way easier.
I don't know if I'd agree with that because then you'd have a fallout to dealing with all that mess, and then that would be another expense.
No. That would just increase GDP because other people would have to be paid to clean that up. And
Derek, the problem with your argument is that like a budget surplus isn't necessarily good for a business either, right? Like you have to be consistent with how you're going to be pedantic.
Well, I mean, it depends on if that surplus is revenue or if it's profit. Like if it's paid back to the shareholders or if it's reinvested.
If they're achieving the same ends and spending less money to do it.
And I'll hand it over to you, Fight Sport. But Jeremy paid a big tent, and he said, since we can't boot Darko, boot non-fon as collateral damage. So as of now, backstage, next I have where'd Gio go? Gio, if you come back in, Gio is next. It looks like he keeps getting booted or something. Gio's next in line, then Sarcasm, Saint of Sarcasm. Then we go back to James Life Talks, Ryan, and Non-Fon. Okay, so if you want to get any one of those up here, you know what to do.
Well, I can just offer something to Darko and Ivory. Salute to everyone. I agree there's plenty of things to be critical of Trump for. Like nobody should be praised blindly. Like you do that, you're gonna be part of the problem. But when it comes to Trump, the question of this panel, MAGA hates American culture. Could not disagree more. I mean, talking about a surplus, I agree. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it's better than being in debt, partly because the value of your dollar goes down the drain the more you are in debt.
Like what Trump's doing now? You're a fucking bonger. Why do I care about? Okay, tell me how you know about American culture. The more you print money, it goes down too.
Well, if you can stop talking for a second, it's better than again.
You're a fucking Kiwi.
Darko, and you're just spazzing out when I barely got a sentence off. It's better than what we had before because these guys were just borrowing like drunken sailors and they weren't even addressing these topics. Trump,
what do you mean?
I agree.
Trump ran record deficits in a booming economy for no reason.
How about you stop spazzing out? I barely got a word off of you.
Because you're retarded. You're a retarded Kiwi.
Oh my god!
You come from a country that doesn't matter at all whatsoever.
Listen to how sensitive this guy is. Like,
I never claimed to be sensitive.
I think you hit a nerve there, Fight Sport. I think you did.
You are spazzing out. Barely got a sentence off. Like you're the reason.
No,
you won't shut
let
the
me
fuck up. You just
let me
talking.
interrupt for just a second. I need to go tend to a child momentarily who has been awoken. I'm going to leave Honest Abe in my stead to take control over the panel. If he says shut up, you shut the fuck up. And if I come back, I'm going to be a few minutes, okay? I'm going to be like 3 to 5 minutes. If he tells you to shut up and you don't shut up, when I get back and I ask for the behavior report from Honest Abe, and he tells me this person didn't listen, well, you get the boot. You can wait backstage until I feel like you belong back up again, okay? Everybody understand what I just said?
How can we trust him?
Because he's Honest Abe. Honest Abe, the floor is yours to control. Fight Sport, I believe you were talking last. All right, I'll be back.
That hat's full of nothing but brain. That's
sure.
Abe,
do I go next or?
I mean, you were already going. Like, please, can you really condense it down to something less than 4 minutes?
Okay, okay. What Trump is doing? Okay. Again, if you want to criticize him, fair enough. But when you say he hates American culture, we really have to compare him to what we had before. And what we had before was anti-American, woke. I know some people on this panel, like you, get triggered every time I use that word, woke tards. It's what Trump is pushing is more American, closer to what American was founded on than what we had before. So therefore, I don't really see how you can complain that much. I already described the benefits of having a surplus. Go ahead.
Sure. So again, you're just like, oh, so no, this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, none of MAGA can substantiate any point besides like, well, but the Democrats though, just like, oh, well, actually everything was worse before and it's better now, and and it'll be better later. Totally.
I haven't heard you refute the idea that a surplus is actually good for the United States economy. I mean,
I didn't say that it's.
But you did say that operating a company is a different thing than operating a government, and that profits are good for companies and not necessarily good for governments. That implies to me that somehow operating in deficit is not a detriment to the economy, which in fact it is.
Or a government is there to protect people's rights, and a government is not a fucking business. Like, I don't know, what else you want me to say?
Okay, so how does a government protect people's rights when it can't even ensure its own solvency? You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Oh, okay, so
is the U.S. insolvent?
We're getting there. It's not looking good.
What does that
mean?
Realize we've been operating. We've been operating fine for.
We've been operating at a deficit for 26 years now, and the debt just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, wait,
the only thing Democrats can say. The only thing Democrats can ever say is that we need to spend more money, we need to print more money, we need to inflate the dollar words to deflate the value of
record deficits this whole fucking
currency.
Hey, do you mind if I jump in? Because again, Darko, you haven't
fuck you, Darko. What the fuck is that? You fucking bitch.
All you've done is call me retarded, call me names, and spaz out like a sensitive woke tard. You're not debating any of the points I brought up. Like, it's again, what Trump is doing is better.
What is he doing? Bring up some actual points. It's better.
Okay,
How is it better? Fucking make a real point. Make a fucking argument.
if you can stop spazzing out for a second.
Seriously,
he's looking to make adjustments to foreign aid. Now, I wish he wouldn't
how
cut
so?
foreign aid to. If you stop talking for a second,
In what way? And why is that good? No. Because
Jesus.
I want you to give like a real fucking answer to the fucking question.
I'm about to,
because you're
but
obviously
you
fucking
don't want me to
retarded.
talk
Okay,
because I'm
cool.
killing the
Okay,
brain
cool.
cells.
Cool. Go ahead.
Because
seriously.
I don't. Okay, he's looking to cut foreign aid to Ukraine, which I actually don't like. I wish he would keep that going, but he's looking to at least make adjustments. All Joe Biden, as you spaz out again, all Joe Biden did was say, here, money here, money here, money here. Never actually comprehend it.
Cool. So, like, what Trump is doing for Israel, while he's cutting aid to Ukraine. Okay, cool, great. So, you giving me something you disagree with, and not a fucking positive. Again, give me a fucking argument.
Jeez, man. Okay, that I just said he's looking to make some adjustments. He's also using American tax dollars to secure the border, far more than it's ever been secure before. He's also looking to cut back on departments such as education, which have been teaching this blatant anti-American crap for a long time. So, like I said, changes never great. He's brought in Dodge. There's always growing pains. Changes are always scary, but he's at least looking to make some changes. Whereas the vast majority of the recent presidents, being Democrats, again, have just been spend. And as we saw, particularly with the introduction of Barack Obama.
You're literally retarded. Okay, so did Trump run record deficits?
Always with
compared
the
to Biden?
man.
Did Trump spend more than Biden in his first term?
Emotional appeal.
He did, and I didn't like it.
Oh, okay. So Democrats just want to spend, and Republicans also just want to spend, even more than fucking Democrats. But we're just not going to talk about how Republicans want to spend.
Okay, so here's
because it's not convenient to your argument.
Trump
you
got
fucking
more.
Piece
Trump
of shit. Go back to your New Zealand fucking Stonehenge bullshit.
All right, this is going to be. This is hilarious, Darko.
Didn't he just say he didn't agree with something that Trump did?
Yeah,
and I asked him for a positive argument for why Trump is doing what he's doing.
Darko, I mentioned several, okay? Looking to cut foreign aid. As of right now, he's avoided another conflict with Iran.
Why should he cut foreign aid? Again, I need positive arguments here.
Can you stop talking for
No, I can't.
Closer to solvency.
Anti-American, treasonous fuck. I hope you're not in my fucking country. And if you are, I hope you get fucking deported once we elect AOC. If we have another election.
This is the tolerant left, everybody. The tolerant left.
No, I'm not the tolerant left.
Bro, it's crazy we're making fun
I hate anti-Americans, whether they're fascists or communists.
I've got several points, okay? If you can just hold on for a second. Looking to secure the border, 1. Cutting departments such as education, 2, which, again, have pushed blatant anti-American crap for too many years. It's going to hurt.
Just blatant. It's just obvious. It's just common sense. If you really think about it,
it's going to hurt our future. It's going to hurt our future generations. So I'm all in favor of Trump doing that. Because I'm part of the West. So I consider.
Oh wait, do you live here? Do you live here in America?
I don't, but a lot of my close friends and family do.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
He hasn't been wrong so far. I don't want the future of the West to be taught this blatant anti-American crap. I don't want them to grow up in a guilt society. So that is another positive that Trump is doing. He's also looking to support freedom of choice when it comes to things like schooling, which again helps the future generation.
No, he's not.
Whereas
he's literally holding federal funding hostage.
Can I say something?
If they don't accept his fucking curriculum.
Let me jump in real quick. Wouldn't you want Australia to have like a computer science program at a school or something? Like, wouldn't you think that's better than watching your countrymen fumble around?
State education departments usually fund programs like that, like music programs and computer labs. It's funded by the states, not the federal government.
Stuff. Like it's
Dr. Democrat. As somebody I've gone to several universities, the vast majority of them are crap. I would like a complete reform, but we're not going to get that because we're typically extremely
universities don't cater to retards. I'm sorry,
socialist.
my bad.
They kind of do. Yeah, they really
listen
do.
to the amount. Listen to the, anyway, Dr. Democrat. I hope that answers your question. I'd like the whole thing to be reformed, but we don't have somebody like Trump who's looking to make
reformed
these
how?
bigger
I'm just saying like we live in a
How about more
globalized world where things are
less
totally
partisanship?
open. And so, you know, I see government, my opinion is I see government spending when it's done effectively as a way to sort of, I would say, I would describe it as bridging the gaps that exist. Like those are to me, those are the things that are more important than creating, you know, creating like divisions and stuff like that.
I agree. Creating divisions never good, but unfortunately, when one side,
creating divisions
which is
never
one
good. So
side-
like what Trump tweeted on Easter about like
here
the
he goes
weak
again.
and
Here he
ineffective.
goes again.
Yeah, no, because
Here
you're just
you go
sitting here
again.
filibustering
Spurging
like
out,
a
dude.
fucking
No, I've
New
got-
He's
Zealand
not
I've got
dog.
filming. He's having a
I've got
conversation with
actual-
somebody else, man. Holy
I've
shit.
got
He's not having a conversation. No,
You're
he's
a
just
piece
like,
of
well,
shit,
shut the fuck
Darko.
it's just
Darko.
bad. If you
Shut
just
the fuck
really
up.
think about it,
I've got
it's like, you know,
I've
it's
got
just like
actual
obvious.
points.
It's just
I've
so
got actual
patently
points and
obvious.
You don't want to hear them. You're just a spastic. You're just a spastic.
What do you think, Ivory?
Dr. Democrat. Yeah, Dr.
Like,
Democrats.
I
think.
really, like, Darko, do you want to convince anyone of anything right now?
I mean, apparently not.
No,
yeah.
I want MAGA fucking deported at this point. I have run out of patience.
Then
I'm
why-
over
Darko,
convincing people. They're
I just
traitors
say
to this
what?
fucking
Half the
country.
country.
They support a traitor.
Darko,
Get him the fuck out. They can be on the plane next to the communists.
Are you hosting this whole
All
thing?
right, I just got to. Okay, Darko's made it clear he doesn't want any discussion, so I'll just point this out. This is the kind of communist traitor that we don't need in the West. You should go live. You should go live in Vladimir Putin's hellhole because you love it so much.
Send him to Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay with this piece of shit.
I'm gonna get that out, guys.
Ooh.
I enjoyed the cut back and forth. Darko, I would like to say that we probably would agree on a lot of things, but I appreciate the back and forth and engaging. So I'll see you guys around next time. Let's
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
It's a hell of a pipe, man. Cheers.
Later.
I mean, like, genuinely, is the whole point of this panel just to like scream at MAGA? Is that the whole? Is that like all?
I
You're
mean,
doing?
apparently.
No,
That's
that's
what the whole
point,
topic
but,
was.
like,
That's
the
what the whole
retards have
topic
been
is bent on
Darko, yes.
right here.
Look,
MAGA
Darko,
hates
like-
American culture.
Abe,
MAGA
you
hates the
think-
Constitution.
That's
What
great.
else do you
I
expect to
know.
accomplish?
I agree with him,
Abe,
but I mean, like,
wait,
he's not
one
making
second,
any
one
points, he's
second.
just screaming.
Do you have anything for Aben Renyald based on what fucking Fight Sport Talk was talking about?
What, like, do I have anything to respond to?
Well, I guess my answer to this entire question was that yes,
But wokeism,
plenty to criticize.
Shut
Trump
the fuck
on.
up, Darko.
Kill yourself.
Plenty
Or
to
in a
criticize
video
Trump
game.
on.
Well, that's
the question.
not toss.
All
question-
right, what the fuck are we doing here? What is going on? Who dropped?
Mo.
That was
Matt.
the guy with the pipe.
Matt
The
dropped.
pipe was awesome.
Mo did.
Why did
Mo
I
Rebuttal
was just
did.
making a point for Ivory and Renaud that the answer to the question of the stream, MAGA hates American culture. You can criticize it, but in terms of the word hate, I feel it's far closer to American culture that the country was founded on than what we have had, what the West, what America has had for a very long time. So that's why I feel MAGA. Answer the question of the
you're
stream.
making a
MAGA does not hate
All right,
American
hold
culture.
on. Let me read these first. Speedy Lee says with a big two, Marxists aren't allowed bank accounts. Thank you very much. The ghost of Pinochet? Pinochet, thank you. Yeah, twist that mustache. Make sure the hairs are nice and tight so your boyfriend has something to grip onto later, Spurgly. Sarcastic. Hold on, bud. Hold on, hold on. I'm still on screen. Hold on. Sarcastic Saint says, sorry, we need Radical Coder back and we can kick Darko, the big baby, or kick the Ivory Fool. I do respect Ivory Fool, but more, but damn, kick someone. All right, let me get a behavior report first. Abe, was anybody on here particularly acting out? Darko's in the clear because he's the guest of the evening, so he cannot be booted. But I hope you weren't acting like a butt. But
He was.
Abe, honest Abe, spit it out.
Well, I think that Darko went a little bit nuts. I think he believes kiwis are retarded, according to him. But I think that's about it.
Yeah,
they're fruits or vegetables, whatever.
Yeah, Sarah, he just called me retarded and more times than I can count, but that's okay. we disagree.
He
just, I just couldn't have a debate with him because he just spazzed out every 5 seconds. But
It was worse than that. He said you should be deported. You should be sent away with the commies. You shouldn't be commenting on American politics. Yada yada yada.
To be fair, he doesn't live in America.
So,
and then
he
on
can't be
top of it,
deported.
Well,
he did tell somebody to unalive themselves, basically. In terms.
Oh, he told me to. Yeah, that's true. I won't see that.
Minecraft.
I mean,
well,
if I can thank Darko for one thing, thank you for the clip of the year, because you've just been a direct emulation in real time of what we're trying to express while we follow guidelines, for certain channels, platforms, POCs, and etc. But thank you for honestly allowing us to just hang out, because you've refuted every argument that you've made thus far by your inability of self-control.
Oh wow, thank you.
But it's a great ride.
Damn, shots fired. So who should we boot then? Because Darko can't be booted. Was anybody else acting like a butt on here? Oh, wow. All right. Okay. Lost Ronan says Big Five. Darko equals so much soy, bro, is what you get buying Captain Jack Sparrow off of Temu. That's actually pretty fun. Bro wants AOC as president. What a loser. All right. And then Speedy Lee says, Darko, who is your favorite German? Oh,
Angela Merkel, without a doubt.
shots fired. Shots fired. Okay.
I'd love to mention something to
Sarah. I'll tell you what. Sarah, I'll drop out. But first, before I go, I want to say I think Kiwis are based. Fight Sport Talk. You're fucking awesome. And cheers, everybody. Thanks
cheers,
for having me.
homie.
See you around. All right. Cheers.
Thanks, brother.
No problem.
I'd like to mention
All right.
something, mate.
Pardon me for just a moment. I still have a child. Oops. I still have a child going berserk. I'll be right back.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So, real quick, I want to. I want to bring it back to the Constitution stuff that I brought up earlier. But first of all, Fight Sport Talk. When you talk about all the allegedly anti-American ideas that are you say are being pushed by the Department of Education, I'm not sure you could substantiate that. But would you be including like things like critical race theory under that? Are these the things that you're against?
Critical race theory, feminism. And by the way,
let's start there. Let's start with that one. Like, what is your problem with critical race theory?
That it is teaching people who are white to feel guilty about stuff that they had absolutely nothing to deal with.
So, would you be happy to hear that that's not what CRT teaches?
Gentlemen, I have to interrupt. I have to end my stream. My son just hurt his head very badly in such a way where we have to make a trip somewhere. I'm very grateful of everybody for tuning in this evening. I do apologize, Darko. I know this was your time to shine, but I do have to shut down. I love you all. I'm so sorry. Good night.
Hope it gets well.
Good night.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good luck.